lectern. That's not going to work. Here, I got to move this around because this is not. Oh, now what? Yeah, can you mark me? What? I'm really confused as to why when I go backwards that you don't get a bigger shot. Did the shot just get bigger?
It's got more in it.
Yeah, that's what I want. Because before it used to be way back there.
You're cutting off a little bit of the screen.
Oh, but there's a lectern. Oh, get the screen.
Can you go back a little further?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. You are seeing what I did all by myself in this room all the time. Okay, hold on.
I get both.
Just both the screen and the lectern?
Yep.
Okay, wonderful. Awesome. Okay, great. Sorry, we're running late, YouTube. I'm trying to be aware, too, of... Hi, everybody. Welcome. I know it's a little dark. Paige! Hi. I know it's a little dark out there, but what that helps is the people that are on YouTube can see the screen because it's really difficult to see the screen if the lights are on out there. So now you will get the slides and YouTube will get the slides. See, I'm thinking about you, YouTube. I know I totally forgot about you last week. I didn't look at the camera once. I was off the whole time because I was so excited to have people back in the room. Okay, so I'm going to mark something. I'm going to give myself a mark. Everybody's seeing the behind the scenes stuff. Okay. All right, Bedford, take it away. Oh, that's right. Tom, take it away. You have to go over there. You have to stand on the, yeah. You have to go to the lectern and use the mic.
Not there. Not there.
No. That's a magic spot. I'll tell you about what it is later.
You can push on the microphone there.
Yep, will you turn up? I should do that. We are so cash here. Don't you love how casual we are? Just loose. Loosey-goosey.
Well, I didn't realize I was going to be first up.
Sorry. Well, the reason why I did it, okay, let me tell you why. The reason why I'm having Tom go first is because this poem that he wrote, it really encompasses last week's talk really, really well. So I wanted him to go first because it really, anyway, you'll see.
At least I don't have to follow you or Bedford or something. Okay, it's called 2020 Vision. And I'll begin with a Yiddish proverb. It goes, heart is the organ that sees better than the eye. Heart is the organ that sees better than the eye. Want to get to know someone? See them with your heart. Don't ask why they are being guarded. Ask yourself why you are. Then let your guard down. Be present. Be yourself. Reveal who you are. Lighten up. Humor helps, as does kindness. Ask to hear their story, but don't just hear. Listen. Listen for what's behind the words. Listen with your eyes. Listen with your heart. Affirm their strengths. Compliment their achievements. Be understanding. Do so even if the view from your path is different from yours. From theirs, I'm sorry. Know that you can't control what they say or do. You can only control your response. Agree to disagree. Now, there are those that will be rude. Know that they are unhappy and probably expect disrespect. Don't give them what they expect. Give them something different. Give them what they're really asking for. Give them love. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. That's really profound and very much appreciated. Especially the loosening up part, which is kind of why I'm dressed the way I am today. And by the way, I don't advise dressing this way in the emergency room.
Oh,
More about that in a moment.
oh my.
It's cold there. Many of you may remember a long running program on ABC called Wide World of Sports. Remember that? And they would have an opening of these vignettes of athletes doing tremendous things. And then they would have same vignettes of athletes coming to utter failure. And would label it the triumph of victory and the adversity of defeat. And I say that because I think in many ways, being human has that dramatic aspect to it at times. We know in Unity that we are spirit having a human experience. Well, sometimes that human experience becomes very dramatic and dominant, if you will, at times that kind of shadows the spirit. Well, such a time was for Barbara and myself on Friday. Barbara has been recently diagnosed with a tricuspid valve disorder, which is on the right chamber of your heart. This valve is the in between the two parts of that chamber, and it has a minor leakage, but she's had some difficulties as a result. And we have a cardiologist appointment later or early in August. But the symptoms of being very, very tired and worn out easily. And then she came home after, she loved to go down for a walk near the river and watch the birds. And she came home Friday night and said that she was feeling nauseous. Well, nausea is one of the symptoms, especially for women, of heart problems. Well, we already knew that she had this issue and some other kinds of symptoms. So I got worried and told her that I think it's time to go to the ER and not just wait for, we've been holding on to getting to the cardiologist in August. But it seemed like, well, let's not do that. I mean, it could be too urgent. Well, she resisted, and I went for my nightly walk with my dog, and I was really worried and filled with all kinds of things. What's going to happen if Barbara's not here? And came back, and she still did not want to go. So I did try to get into bed, and she interrupted me probably a few minutes after I had gotten into bed and said, I think I better go. And so I got dressed in this way, and to my chagrin and sorrow later, we spent from about 1 o'clock until about 4:30 a.m. In the ER, and it's very chilly there.
Yeah.
She went through a lot of tests and blood tests. It was very exhaustive for the emergency services. And fortunately, it came back and looking pretty good for her. That everything was stable and there was no urgent issues. And so we went home and got to bed about 4:30 or so for myself. Yesterday was just a big gray blur as I was recovering, as was she. And the Bucks game helped a lot. But at any rate, on the other hand, knowing that I'm spirit and knowing that she's spirit, knowing that we're all spirit, really it was something that helped quite a bit. So this unity came through, if you will.
Yeah.
And being able to fortify my own sense of, okay, somehow we can get through this. Having lost my son, I didn't want to have to go through another one. Of course, nobody does. But I know that there's something deeper is within us, within all of us, that can carry us through. So there was a unity affirmation that really came ringing through this whole kind of white hot ordeal, if you will, in the ER. And so I just wanted to share that with you, as you know, there really is substance to our unity affirmations and unity beliefs. It's just wonderful. And so with that, I welcome you, and we can go into the welcome vision mission. So if you would join with me in our vision. A world powerfully transformed through shared spiritual awakening. And our mission together, advancing the movement of spiritual awakening and transformation through unity, a positive path for spiritual living. And our values, abundance, acceptance, community, diversity, integrity, joy, and love. And we celebrate our children. Unity of Appleton sees the divinity in all children and nurtures their unfolding spirituality. And from the daily word reading for today, I realized the power of spiritual truth. I have had many aha moments throughout my life when something that had befuddled me for years suddenly became clear. It may have been something I tried to learn in school, a skill I practiced and tried to master as I grew, or even an idea that challenged my understanding of the world around me. Whenever I realized something new, I could feel my world expanding, opening up before me in fresh and exciting ways, making me eager to discover even more. On my spiritual journey, I feel a similar excitement as I realize I have so much more than a spark of divinity within me. I am fully divine, just as I am fully human. I feel newly alive in this realization, and so very grateful for it. There is a...
First, I've got it marked for you.
Oh, you do? Okay. In here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, by the way, the word for today is realize. And the reading from the Bible is, Jacob awoke from his sleep and said, surely the Lord is in this place. And I did not know it, from Genesis. I want to say one other thing that of this experience. I know I've known for years how much I love my wife, but it's even deeper. The bond that is with us for over 50 years is really powerful. And sometimes in emergencies, in crises, we learn even more, or we get in touch with even more, and how deeply I do love my wife. So thank you.
Thank you, Bedford. Susan, will you do me a favor since you're right here? Can you see that green light? Okay. I think Tom might be able to see it. I just want it, that's the speaker light, and sometimes it just likes to go out. Thank you, Bedford. Good morning, everybody. Before I get started, I want to share with you that Kevin McCauley, who was a longtime Unity member, passed away a couple of weeks. Is it now just 1 week ago, Clint?
Well, it was July 6th.
July 6th. And this is Clint, his very good friend. And Clint was kind enough to call us. John, and Bedford all went to see Kevin before he passed. But he was diagnosed, it was very quick. He was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer earlier in the year, March, I think. And then and now we are in July and he's no longer with us. So it was very quick.
What was her name?
His name, Kevin McCauley. Kevin. Most of you will remember him. Kevin liked to sit in the back. So he was there. Remember we had that couch back there? Kevin liked to sit in that couch back there. And what I know is that Kevin is here with us right now. And I want to take a moment to honor him and honor the fact that life that energy cannot be created, nor can it be destroyed. It can merely change forms. So while he is not here in form, in body, we know that he is one with love and one with all of us and in no pain. So everybody with me say, hey, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
We're glad you're here.
We're glad you're here.
We love you.
We love you.
Good. Okay. So, and that's his friend Clint. Clint, you want to wave for just a second? Who was kind enough to call us and let us know as soon as it happened. So thank you, Clint, for coming. All right. So we'll start with a prayer. Tom is kind enough to do some strumming on the guitar. The CDC says no singing yet. So the music program begins in the fall, which gives us time to figure out how to move the camera and change angles. So I invite you just to close your eyes or relax your gaze and take a breath with me in through your nose and out. Another breath in and out. Notice the ground supporting your feet and the chair supporting your body. In this moment, there is nothing to do, nothing to be, just this holy instant. We allow all thoughts to come and go. No resistance, no struggle, just surrender. And in this moment of surrender, we can feel the truth of who we are rising to the surface. The love that we are rising up and forming everything that we think and say and do. We are here to be pointed toward our own wisdom, toward the wisdom that we are one with. Love's will be done. One more breath together. And you can come back to this moment in time and space as slowly or as quickly as you like. So today, oops, I forgot. I'm supposed to talk to you first. As you guys know, look, it doesn't even have a cover. This is the wisdom of the Enneagram, but this is my copy. I had to see all the Post-it notes. I actually took 7 of them out. So this is like the ones that I just couldn't live without, so I had to keep them in. But I took another look at the Enneagram this week, and there is some amazing, helpful tools in here. What we know about the spiritual journey is that at the end of it, what we reach is us, the truth of who we are, our Christ nature, the place where we and God meet. So the spiritual journey is not one that is on the outside. It's one that's happening inward. It's an inward journey. And at Unity, what we recognize is that psychology and spirituality are I want to say inextricably, I hope that is the correct word, inextricably linked. You cannot, without, you know what, I'm going to read this because they say it better. Mr. Rizzo and Mr. Hudson say it better. Wait, did I take that? No, no way would I take that one out. No way would I take that one out. Did I? Oh my goodness, I am so proud of myself. Okay. There's no way. Okay, all right. Let go, Lydia. The Enneagram, they call it sacred psychology. And the recognition is that, in order for us to reach the truth of who we are, the recognition on the Enneagram is that very early on we felt fear. And that fear began to cover up the love that we were. And all of us came up with strategies so that we could navigate the world and get our needs met and be okay. This is what our minds told us. And each of us came up with different strategies. And some of them were very complex. I know mine go on for miles and miles. And so the spiritual journey is one of letting go. First of all, becoming aware of these strategies that we created one by one, and then shedding them. And so I have 7 tips, 7 tools for spiritual transformation that I stole from my favorite book, one of my favorite books. So the first step, is seeking truth. So in order for us to get in touch with who we are, we have to first of all, through mindfulness, become aware of our thoughts, right? And we all remember when we first become aware of our thoughts, our first instinct is to think how terrible we are because of those thoughts that are in there. But one of the things that the personality does is that it kind of tricks us. It doesn't give us a real feeling. It kind of gives us another thought. So here's an example. I am really angry at my father. Underneath that is I really love him and I desperately want his love. Can you feel that? So one of the first qualifications in order to be on your spiritual journey is a commitment to and a seeking of the truth. The truth with a capital T. The truth within you and within your thoughts. I want to read this part because I think he says it very, very well. So, if we are interested in transformation, no element is more important than developing a love of truth. Seeking the truth means being curious about what is going on in ourselves and around us, not settling for the automatic answers that our personality feeds us. If we observe ourselves, we will see that many of the stock explanations that we give ourselves for our behavior or for the actions of others are a form of resistance. They are a way of avoiding seeing more deeply into our current state. For example, this that I just gave you, both levels of truth might be difficult for our personality to accept. It could take a long time to admit that we are angry with our Father, and even longer to acknowledge the love beneath the anger. As we learn to accept what is real in the present moment, we are more able to accept whatever arises in us, because we know that it is not the whole of us. Now, here it is. Everybody, this was the sentence. The truth encompasses both our fearful reactions and the greater resources of our soul. So the truth encompasses our reactions, our fearful reactions, and our soul. That's the truth. Acknowledging their presence brings us closer to the truth. When we are willing to be with the whole truth, whatever it is, we have more inner resources available to deal with whatever we are facing. Oftentimes, We are afraid, what we are afraid to look at, the reason why we are afraid to look at something within ourselves is because we think that when we go within, there's something really rotten in there. And the truth is the exact opposite. That's what we know. I remember in my first foray in therapy, long time ago, I was 21. Oh, 21. And when I was 21, it was a very good year. No, I'm kidding. It really wasn't. And it was a terrible year. But my therapist asked me, what's in there? Essentially, what's in there, And I said, it's terrible. It's terrible. I'm bad. I just think that there is something fundamentally wrong with me. And that is the concept of original sin that just permeates the Western world. That we are somehow born bad and that we need to earn our God's love. And that is just the opposite of what we know here and what we practice here. We are all born good. We are one with God, and our Christ nature is where God and we meet. And we are committed to uncovering all of those fearful coping strategies and getting to that place, that Christ essence, that Christ nature where we and God meet. So the next, and here's 2 quotes. Here's one from Jesus. You will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. And here's one from Buddha. Inner freedom is not guided by our effort. It comes from seeing what is true. How you like that? Buddha and Jesus, same slide. All right. Okay, this is going to distract you, isn't it, until I read this to you. Okay, the second is not doing. The process of transformation sometimes seems paradoxical because we speak of struggle and effort as well as of allowing, accepting, and letting go. The resolution of these apparent opposites lies in the concept of not doing. Once we understand not doing, we see that the real struggle is to relax into greater awareness. So our automatic impulses, greater awareness, so that we can see the manifestations of our personality. By neither acting on our automatic impulses nor suppressing them, we begin to understand what is causing them to arise. So remember, we've talked about this several times. Like at first, you become mindful, right? But what happens is you say the thing, you say the unkind thing, you act the unkind way, and then, an hour later or 20 minutes later, you realize, oh, I did it. I did it again. I didn't act from the love that I was. I acted from my automatic fearful reactions. So you get it later. And then you get it a little bit sooner after, like right after. You get that, oh, shoot, I did it again. You don't have to have any space between you and it. It happens. You go, oh, no, I did it again. And then we get it while it's happening. And while it's happening, we are saying in our mind, I'm doing it again. I'm doing that fearful reaction thing again. And yet out of our mouths is still the fearful thing, right? The fearful, unloving thing. And then when we become masters, we get it just before we're about to do it. Just as we're opening our mouths, we go, and we go to our corner, right? And that is the process of not doing. You become aware, and what happens is, and I've heard people get really, really frustrated. They'll say, well, and it was so true with me. My ex-fiance, I would, read all these spiritual books. I was so there, guys. I was, all of it. A New Earth, name some more. Gary Zukov over here. I was reading them like crazy. I was ingesting him, sitting on the porch, ingesting him. That he would walk in the door and I would become the meanest person in the world. Like it was, romantic relationships brought out the very worst in me. But what it really did was trigger all those fearful things, all those strategies I had to protect myself and keep myself safe, right? And so he'd come in the thing and I'd yell, and then later on I'd think, oh, God, what am I doing? I just read how to do this. I just read it. And then it would happen again. And right after I would think, oh, gosh, darn it, I was close. I was really close. And then I realized over and over again, I just couldn't do it right before. And so I said to him, I'm sorry, I can't marry you. I don't like who I am when I'm with you. It's not you, it's me. And it was true. It wasn't him, it was me. And we just had too much history. There was too much trigger pushing, and I just couldn't get through it. But what I want to say is this idea, this concept of not doing, that's the first one. It's when you're able to watch yourself doing it, that's when everybody gets really frustrated. They're like, I literally am aware that I'm doing it. Why am I doing it if I'm aware that I'm doing it? That means you're winning. You're almost there. That is not the moment to lose faith. That's the moment to go, yes, I did it. I'm finally aware of it while it's happening. Good, 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 good. Right? Okay. So when Michelangelo, and so in there, so I wanted to read to you from the Tao Te Ching. My mother-in-law has this really awesome copy because I don't know where mine is. And it's small and it's pocket size. And I thought I put it in my book, but I didn't. But the Tao Te Ching talks about this concept of doing, not doing. And so here's the other side of the doing, not doing. The other side of the doing, not doing has to do with us aligning ourselves with the intelligence of the universe. And that's what's happening when we stop with the fearful reactions. As soon as we stop and we put those down, we automatically align with the intelligence of the universe, and we just find ourselves doing the next right action. I want to ask, who has had the experience of doing and knowing that you're not doing it? That's when I know that I'm doing the right thing. I know I'm doing the right thing when I am not doing it, but I'm being done, right? We are not the dancer. We are the dance, right? Like that is when I celebrate the most. You know, when I make a phone call and I know I'm not the one doing it, I know that's the phone call to make because I've aligned with the intelligence of the universe. So I'm going to read to you a quote from Marianne Williamson. When Michelangelo was asked how he created a piece of sculpture, he said that the statue already existed within the marble. His job, as he saw it, was to get rid of the excess marble that surrounds God's creation. So it is with you. The perfect you is not something you need to create because God already created it. Your job is to allow the Holy Spirit to remove the fearful thinking that surrounds your perfect self. Love her. I heart Marianne. The next one is willingness to be open. Willingness to be open. I'm going to look at this because I made myself notes on this. And I should really check them. I took the time to do it anyway. Willingness to be open. Oh, this is where I'm supposed to read the Tao that I forgot. Okay, so that doesn't work. I will read from here then. One of the primary functions of the personality is to separate us from various aspects of our own true nature. It causes us to limit our experience of ourselves by blocking from our awareness any parts of ourselves that do not fit our self-image. By relaxing our bodies, quieting the chatter in our minds, and allowing our hearts to be more sensitive to our situation, we open up to the very inner qualities and resources that can help us grow. Every moment has the possibility of delighting us, nurturing us, supporting us, if we are here to see it. Can I tell you my example of this? It's my son, Kai. He sees delight in every single moment. He is excited all the time. So I know that this is possible, and he is my teacher. I look at him and I think, yes, that's the openness. When you're that open to seeing, you see the delight in every moment. Life is a tremendous gift, but most of us are missing it because we are watching a mental movie of our lives instead. Can you relate to that? Watching a mental movie of your life instead of actually living it? As we learn to trust in the moment and to value awareness, we learn how to turn off the internal movie projector and start living a much more interesting life, the one we actually are starring in. The next one, and this is a quote from some wise woman. What is required is not my perfection, but my presence. Presence is just showing up with my arms as open as I can make them. That is the truth. What is required in every moment is not your perfection, but your presence. And for you to be as open as you're able to be in the moment. Not your perfection, your presence. The next one is getting proper support. The more support we have for our inner work, the easier our process will be. If we are living or working in dysfunctional environments, inner work is not possible. Inner work is not impossible, but it is more difficult. Most of us cannot leave our jobs or our families so easily, even if we are having difficulties with them. Although we can seek out others who give us encouragement and act as witnesses to our growth. Beyond this, we can find groups, right? Attend workshops and put ourselves in situations that foster our real development. Getting support also entails structuring our days in ways that leave room for the practices that nurture our souls. And it also means sometimes getting therapy. So I'm going to read this to you. There are many areas of growth: grief, early wounds, trauma, relationships, and more, where good Western therapy is on the whole much quicker and more successful than meditation. Yes, I said it, but it wasn't me. I'm going to tell you in a minute who said it. These crucial aspects of our being can't be just written off as personality stuff. Freud said he wanted to help people to love and work. If we can't love well and give meaningful work to the earth, then what is our spiritual practice for? Meditation can help in these areas, but if after sitting for a while, you discover that you still have work to do, find a good therapist. And it got cut off, but that's Jack Cornfield who said that. And for those of you who don't know, because I keep saying it, I'm in therapy right now, and I love it. I love it. I love therapy. It's been a long time, and it is very, very helpful. Last week, I put something on the slide, or 2 weeks ago, and that it said, environment trumps will. And what I meant by that is when we find ourselves in environments that don't foster our growth, it is much more difficult to do this work. Those are instances in which you seek support like this. You believe that? It was Jack Cornfield. So don't be mad at me. He said it about meditation and therapy. Learn from everything. So once we have involved ourselves in the process of transformation, we understand that whatever is occurring in the present moment is what we need to deal with right now. And whatever is arising in our hearts or minds is the raw material that we can use for our growth. It is an extremely common tendency to flee from what we are actually facing into our imagination, romanticizing, dramatizing our situation, justifying ourselves, or even escaping into spirituality. Staying with our real experience of ourselves and our situation will teach us exactly what we need to know for growth. Remember what I said a couple of weeks ago when I told you about when I went to the water park? And I decided that I was going to embrace this practice of it's on purpose, right? So here's the thing. I've been practicing this it's on purpose thing for a long time. I've been missing one of the crucial elements to it's on purpose. It's on purpose doesn't just apply to what is happening externally. It also means what's happening internally. So if I am feeling a negative emotion, it's on purpose. If I am feeling a negative emotion in this environment, it's on purpose. So I started practicing this. And the most wonderful thing happened. I would go, it's on purpose. And I would get aha moments, like was talked about in the daily word. I would all of a sudden go, oh, that's the moment I realized that from the moment I became a mom, I had this weight on my shoulders that says, don't mess this up. So of course I can't be fun. I'm walking around with a heavy weight on my shoulders that says, don't mess this up. But I didn't even know that that was in there. But I did the moment I looked around the water park and said, oh, these people are really light. Oh, I went, oh, it's on purpose that I'm feeling negatively, that they're the way they are, and I'm sitting here. It's all on purpose. And then that thought came up to me, and I realized this thing that I'd been carrying around in my head without ever knowing it. That thought had been going on for almost 11 years without me ever knowing it. So it's on purpose. We learn from everything. In any moment that we turn that switch, it's on purpose. So now I use that as my clue. If I start to feel a negative emotion, that's my clue to go, it's on purpose. What's going on? What's happening around me? What's happening inside of me? Because then you get the next aha moment. And you also don't eat at the restaurant that you don't want to eat at. Okay, the next one. What did I do here? Really? Oh, isn't that fun? Were you guys able to hear anything I said? Yeah. Okay. I better put the sticker down. Really? That's so fun. I wish I could have seen it. It's on purpose. Everybody check in. Figure out what it was trying to tell you. Okay. Cultivating real self-love. It has been said many times that we cannot love ourselves if we cannot love others if we do not love ourselves. But what does this mean? We usually think that it has something to do with having self-esteem or with giving ourselves emotional goodies to compensate for our feelings of deficiency. Perhaps, but one central aspect of mature love of ourselves is caring about our growth so sufficiently that we do not flee from the discomfort or pain of our actual condition. We must love ourselves enough not to abandon ourselves, and we abandon ourselves to the degree that we are not fully present to our own lives. When we are caught up in worry, fantasy, tension, and anxiety, we become dissociated from our bodies and our feelings, and ultimately from our true nature. True love of self also entails a profound acceptance of ourselves, returning to presence and settling into ourselves as we actually are, without attempting to change our experience. So remember, Thich Nhat Hanh says this so beautifully, and I have a quote from him behind me. Understanding is the beginning of self-love. When you understand yourself, your suffering, you love yourself. So when you understand your suffering, that is loving yourself. When we learn to calm our minds in order to look deeply at the true nature of things, we can arrive at full understanding, which dissolves every sorrow and anxiety and gives rise to acceptance and love. When you see who you truly are, self-love happens by itself. You don't have to try to love yourself. When you see who you truly are, and you can't until you are willing to understand your sorrows and your pain. Thich Nhat Hanh says we rock them like a baby, like a crying baby. When anxiety comes, when fear comes, we say, shh, I'm here. I won't leave. I'm here. I won't go binge watch on Hulu. I don't know who does that. It's when we feel that pain, it's hand on heart. I'm here, I'm listening. That's what I've been doing. I'm listening. I got that from our friend who I love, Sarah Blondin. So when I feel pain or negative emotion, I put my hand on my heart, I breathe, I say, I'm here, I'm listening. And usually there's nothing to hear. It's just that act of doing that calms it down. It's just coming up to know that I'm here, that Lydia's going to be here for it, So all the little parts, my fear, my anxiety, Elizabeth Gilbert says they all get to come in. They all have a place. They're all welcome to stay in her heart. And when they come up, she says, it's okay. It's okay, you're here. So what are we on next? Okay, 6, cultivating real self-love. So the last one is having spiritual practice. So spiritual practice, I love this quote. This too is Jack Kornfield. All of spiritual practice is a matter of relationship to ourselves, to others, to life situations. So spiritual practice is about our relationship to this moment, our relationship to Bedford, our relationship to our spouse, our relationship to our children, our relationship to the person behind us in line at Festival Foods, and our relationship to ourselves and how we feel about ourselves. So spiritual practice is about working on those relationships. What should our relationship to the present moment be? Arms as open as we can make them. What should our relationship to someone else be? Seeing through the eyes of love. And anything that is not love that comes out of their mouth is a call for love. The Course in Miracles tells us. And then the relationship to ourselves. I am willing to see you. I'm willing to look. Willing to not leave you when you're in pain. Talking to myself here, right? That's spiritual practice. But beyond that, we live in a world where many of us are sleepwalking. And I sleepwalk too, sometimes. Maybe a lot. It's difficult out there in a world of sleepwalkers not to fall asleep to our true nature, not to fall asleep to the love that we are, to the oneness that we have with God. It's difficult. And so what we must do is have a practice every morning. Marianne Williams actually said, the Course in Miracles says 5 minutes given to the Holy Spirit in the morning. And remember, it doesn't matter what word you use. Word water doesn't make you wet. But the Course uses the word Holy Spirit. 5 minutes given to the Holy Spirit in the morning is enough for the Holy Spirit to be in charge of your thoughts for the rest of the day. 5 minutes. You can pray. Remember, entering quiet or even trying to. Remember, it counts even if your mind doesn't shut up. If you sit for the 5 minutes and just allow the thoughts to come and go, right? They don't have to stop for it to work. You're giving that time. I have a prayer that I do over and over again, and I've shared it many times with all of you. I am here to be truly helpful. I say this in the morning to myself, and I mean to Lydia. I'm here to be truly helpful with a capital T. I am here as the love that sent me. I do not need to worry about what to say or what to do, for I am guided. Love's will be done. And that has been my practice for so long that I was noticing here, because I did it on the drive here. I was noticing here, can I put this into words? It's almost ineffable, but there's like this energetic groove to that prayer. And I can feel when I drop into it. And it took me like 3 or 4 times because I kept thinking about something else and going somewhere else. And then I got into that energetic groove of, oh yeah, okay, there, that worked. I did it. I aligned with it. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Oh, good. But there's an energetic groove to it and you can feel it. So there are your 7 tools, your 7 tips. I can post these slides on our Facebook group. And now let's talk. So I'm turning you off. YouTube, we love you. We're sorry you're not here. You should come because then you'll get to talk to us.